All right. So we're going to do something a little bit additional today, right? Basically, this will be another addendum to the GCP Professional Cloud Security Engineer audio and visual lesson plan. So this will be quiz review, some question and answers, and some review. If you're preparing for the Google PCA Security Engineer exam, this will probably help you along the way. In the chat, if you go back and look at the recording via Fathom, the recording program, you'll see where to get this, and you'll also see this at the top. You can enter this in your browser, go through with a good selection of about 183 questions and answers that would be similar to what you would see on this. So we'll go forward. All right. Question 1. What is the fundamental difference between organization policies and IAM policies in Google Cloud Platform? Organization policies set resource constraints across an organization, while IAM policies control user permissions on resources. Here's an explanation. Organization policies enforce constraints like allowed VM types or external sharing, acting as governance controls. IAM policies define who can do what on which resources. So some keywords you can see there. What is the primary purpose of policy intelligence in Google Cloud Platform's IAM service? This is to analyze IAM policies and recommend least privilege across access settings. Policy intelligence helps enforce least privilege by analyzing access patterns and suggesting more appropriate IAM roles. What is the primary purpose of SAML authentication when implemented in Google Cloud? It enables single sign-on between identity providers and Google Cloud. SAML enables users to authenticate using external identity providers without needing separate Google credentials. What is the primary purpose of Workforce Identity Federation in Google Cloud Platform? To enable access to Google Cloud resources using existing identity provider credentials. Workforce Identity Federation lets users from external identity systems like Azure Active Directory access GCP without separate accounts. What is the primary purpose of Workload Identity Federation in Google Cloud? To allow external identities to access Google Cloud resources without managing service account keys. This enables secure temporary credentialing for workloads from AWS, Azure, etc., without creating or storing service account keys. What is the default validity period for user-managed service account keys in Google Cloud Platform? 10 years from the creation date. GCP sets a 10-year expiration for user-managed keys by default, though security best practices recommend rotating keys more frequently. What is the key distinguishing characteristic between user-managed and Google-managed service accounts in terms of administrative control? User-managed service accounts are controlled by customers, while Google-managed service accounts are controlled by Google. Users can create, manage, and assign roles to user-managed accounts. Google-managed service accounts are tied to GCP services. What is the primary purpose of Access Context Manager in Google Cloud Platform security architecture? To enforce conditional access policies based on contextual attributes like IP, device security, and location. Access Context Manager enables context-aware access by defining attributes that must be met for access to be granted. What is the primary purpose of Google Cloud Directory Sync, GCDS? To sync user and group data from LDAP/Active Directory to Google Workspace. GCDS automates one-way synchronization of identity between on-prem, Active Directory, LDAP, and Google Workspace. What's the primary purpose of service accounts in Google Cloud Platform? To authenticate automated workloads and access GCP resources. Service accounts are used for programmatic access to services, allowing applications or VMs to interact with GCP. What is the primary purpose of IAM conditions when applied to Google Cloud IAM policies? To enforce restrictions on when and how IAM permissions can become active. IAM conditions enable context-based access control, like allowing access only during business hours or from specific IPs. What statement best describes the principle of least privilege in access management? Users and systems should be granted the minimum permissions necessary to perform their required tasks and nothing more. The principle of least privilege ensures users and services only have the exact access needed, reducing security exposure. What is the primary purpose of Google Cloud's Privileged Access Manager, PAM? It provides time-bound, just-in-case, or just-in-time access to elevated permissions for authorized users. PAM helps reduce standing privileges by granting elevated access only when needed, aligning with the zero trust principle. What is the primary security benefit of using short-lived credentials in Google Cloud? To reduce credential compromise risk through automatic expiration. Short-lived credentials automatically expire. This reduces the attack window in case of credential theft. Which Google account role has the highest level of privileges across an entire organization? Super Administrator. The Super Administrator role can manage everything in the organization, including IAM, billing, and organizational structure. What is the recommended way to configure authentication for applications running in GKE, Google Cloud, Google Kubernetes Engine, that need to access other Google Cloud services? Configure workload identity and associate Kubernetes service accounts with Google Cloud service accounts. This avoids long-lived credentials, supports least privilege, and improves manageability in production workloads. What is the recommended best practice for configuring access for temporary contractors in a Google Cloud organization to maintain security while ensuring necessary access? Create time-bound IAM roles with expiration dates aligned to contract end dates. Time-bound roles ensure access automatically expires, aligning with zero trust and reducing manual overhead. What is the recommended approach for securing a service account that needs to access resources across multiple Google Cloud projects while following the principle of least privilege? Create the service account in one project and grant it specific IAM roles in each target project it needs to access. This allows centralized control with granular project-level permissions. A large enterprise has multiple departments that each need their own cloud resource and billing tracking while maintaining centralized security policies and compliance controls. Which of the following cloud resources hierarchy structures would best meet these requirements? Create an organization with department-specific folders below it, using folder-level IAM policies while maintaining org-level security. The folder structure allows decentralized administration with centralized control and policy inheritance. Remember, it goes down from organizations to policies to projects, then down to service accounts and individual users. Which approach best implements separation of duties for Google Cloud administrators while maintaining security best practices? Assign predefined roles based on job functions and use groups to manage access, regularly reviewing and updating membership based on responsibilities. Predefined roles ensure scoped access, groups simplify management, and periodic reviews uphold least privilege. Which of the following represents the most secure and auditable approach to implementing emergency break glass access to production resources? Implement a just-in-time privileged access system with automated approval workflows, detailed logging, and time-limited elevation permissions. This ensures a secure, time-bound, and auditable access and aligns with just-in-time access principles. What is the recommended approach? What is the recommended approach for managing service account key rotation in production environments? Use Google Managed Service Account keys and avoid creating and managing user-managed keys whenever possible. This reduces key exposure and automates key rotation. What is the recommended approach for managing a super administrator account in a production environment? Create 2 super admin accounts. Store credentials in a secure vault and use them only for break glass scenarios. This limits privilege exposure while maintaining emergency access. How should IAM permissions be managed for 200 plus developers across multiple GCP projects? Create custom IAM roles and assign them directly to Google groups that developers are organized into. This means centralized management, scalability, and adherence to least privilege. What is the recommended approach for managing service account permissions across projects? Use a centralized project to host service accounts and grant them access to resources in other projects through IAM policies. This ensures consistency, security, and centralized auditability. What's the best authentication method for external services calling GCP APIs? Workload identity federation with IAM roles. This could be AWS or Azure. This enables secure service-to-service authentication without keys. What is the best method for external partners accessing GCP without Google accounts? Cloud Identity Federation with SAML 2.0. This enables single sign-on, SSO, without account creation. What is a secure method for granting temporary access in GCP? Use IAM conditions with time-based constraints on role bindings. This enforces expiration automatically and supports automation. What are the best IAM and organizational structure approaches for large enterprises? Think 1,000 plus users. Use folders to group projects by department and manage access through groups, with IAM policies inherited from the organizational level. Remember, organizations, then folders, then projects, and then within those you can have groups. Okay. How do you secure cross-project access control between the development and production? Create a shared VPC network and use IAM roles at the host project level. This centralizes network and IAM control. How do you get the best emergency access strategy for global enterprise GCP environments? Implement break glass accounts with time-limited elevated privileges requiring documented justification and automatic alerts. That would be like that super admin with the break glass. This ensures accountability and minimizes exposure. What is the best approach to restrict VM instance creation to specific regions? Create a list of constraint policies at the organization level that specifies allowed regions, then create exceptions at the project level. This balances central control at the organization with flexibility at the project level with the allow and deny. What is the best RBAC, that's role-based access control, for a multi-team enterprise with contractors? Implement Google Groups for teams, assign predefined custom roles to these groups, and use Google Cloud Identity for contractor access. This is a scalable, auditable, and supports least privileges. It's also automated at the same time. What is the best authentication method for a public API exposing sensitive customer data? OAuth 2.0 with JWT access tokens and refresh tokens. This provides scalable, revocable, token-based authentication. What are the minimum components for setting up a SAML 2.0 federation with GCP? A SAML provider, a SAML identity provider, service provider metadata from Google, and identity provider metadata uploaded to Google Cloud. These three components enable trust establishment. What's the most secure and efficient service account management practice? Delete unused service accounts, use workload identity, and prevent service account key creation. This minimizes risks and aligns with best practices, where you have very few access and least trust, zero trust principles. What is the best practice for a 3-month contractor access? Implement time-bound accounts with automatic expiration and project-specific IAM roles. Those would be the IAM conditions on those accounts. This ensures secure, temporary, and auditable access. It's also automated. What is the best authentication method for SSO with existing Active Directory infrastructure? Set up Cloud Identity Federation with their existing Active Directory as an identity provider, enabling SSO through SAML 2.0. This leverages existing infrastructure and reduces operational complexity. What is the most comprehensive security approach for service account keys? Avoid service account key creation. use workload identity federation, and implement service account impersonation. This eliminates long-lived keys and reduces your attack surface. What is the primary purpose of Google Cloud Interconnect? A dedicated connection providing direct access from on-premises networks to Google Cloud's networks. Google Cloud Interconnect provides high bandwidth, low latency physical connections through service providers offering better performance than VPNs. What is the primary purpose of high availability VPN in Google Cloud? This is a VPN service that creates multiple tunnels across multiple interfaces. Or two in this case. It'll provide a 99.99% SLA, that's service level access, with redundant VPN devices. High availability VPN enhances reliability using multiple tunnels for redundancy and delivers an SLA, service level agreement, of 99.99%, meaning it can roll over if one of the tunnels fails. What is the primary purpose of Identity Aware Proxy, IAP? This provides secure access control to applications and resources without a VPN. IAP authorizes access based on identity and context, like the device, the location, uses HTTPS, and eliminates the need for a VPN. What is the primary purpose of private Google Access? This allows virtual machines without external IPs to access Google's APIs using internal IP addresses only. This enables API access from internal IPs without requiring external IPs on your VM. What is the primary purpose of Google Cloud Secure Web Proxy? This enforces security policies and inspects SSL TLS traffic for outbound internet connections. It secures outbound traffic by enabling inspection and policy enforcement for internet-bound traffic. What is the primary purpose of VPC peering? This is a direct private RFC 1918 communication between two VPC networks, even across projects or organizations. VPC peering enables private communication using Google's network without public internet. What is the primary function of Certificate Authority Service, CAS? This establishes and operates a private certificate authority for internal certificate issuance. Certificate Authority Service allows enterprises to manage their internal certificate infrastructure securely and at scale. What is the primary function of Google Cloud Armor? This provides DDoS and WAF protection, that's denial of service and web application firewall protection for Google Cloud applications. Cloud Armor safeguards against network and application level threats at the edge. What is the primary function of VPC service controls? This prevents data exfiltration, removal of data, by creating security perimeters around GCP resources. The VPC service control isolates services and protects sensitive data by controlling service interaction. What is the purpose of a shared VPC? This enables multiple projects to share a VPC network while maintaining centralized control. A shared VPC centralizes network resources while allowing project-level separation. What is the distinguishing feature of Cloud Next Generation Firewall, NGFW? This is a fully managed cloud-native firewall with automatic updates by Google Cloud. The Next-Gen Firewall reduces admin effort, so administrative effort, it's not as manual, with a scalable Google-managed update and policy enforcement. What is the primary purpose of Cloud NAT? That's Network Address Translator. This allows private instances access to the internet. CloudNet gives egress-only internet access to instances without public IPs. What is the purpose of Private Service Connect? This enhances and enables private connectivity between VPC networks and Google services using internal IPs. Private Service Connect secures API and service access over internal IPs without public IP exposure. Which service protects web applications from DDoS at the edge? Cloud Armor. Cloud Armor provides edge protection with DDoS mitigation and WAF rules. Which service offers DNSSEC, signed zones, and a 100% SLA? Cloud DNS. Cloud DNS is an authoritative DNS service with strong security and availability features. That's for your domain name service. What is the recommended method to configure private DNS? Create a cloud DNS private zone, configure records, associate them with the VPC. This method provides high availability, manageability, and secure DNS resolution. How do you enable internal virtual machines to access Google APIs? Enable private Google access on the subnet. This setting allows internal virtual machines to call APIs securely without public IPs. What provides level 7 inspection or layer 7 inspection for incoming traffic? Cloud Armor with an HTTPS load balancer. Cloud Armor inspects application layer traffic at layer 7, and blocks malicious requests. How do you restrict access to specific Google APIs? Use VPC service controls to create security perimeters. VPC service controls enforce API access restrictions to reduce exfiltration risks. How do you securely connect regions in shared VPCs? Use Private Service Connect with an internal load balancer. This enables secure, private, and scalable inter-region communication. What is the primary security advantage of using Cloud NAT instead of an external IP address for virtual machine instances in Google Cloud? Cloud NAT enables internet access for virtual machines while keeping them private and protected from incoming traffic. Cloud NAT supports egress-only internet access for virtual machine instances that don't have external IPs. This reduces the attack surface, enforces least privilege, and prevents unsolicited inbound traffic. What is the best connectivity for dedicated, high bandwidth, low latency link between data centers and GCP? Dedicated interconnect with a 10 gigabit per second redundant connection. Dedicated interconnect offers physical connections up to 100 gigabits per second, ideal for enterprise-grade, low latency, and guaranteed availability needs. It provides direct access to internal IPs and meets SLA requirements and will solve your problems from on-prem to Google Cloud. What is a GCP native solution for secure access to internal web applications without a VPN? Identity-aware proxy. Identity-aware proxy enables context-aware access without requiring a VPN, securing web applications via identity-based controls, and cloud identity integration. What is the networking configuration to share VPC resources across VPC project or GCP projects? Shared VPC. A shared VPC allows centralized control of a VPC while enabling resource sharing across projects, supporting scalability and consistent network policy enforcement. What is the best option for secure, private, high bandwidth VPC to VPC communication across organizations? VPC network peering. VPC peering allows private RFC 1918 communication with low latency, high throughput, and mutual administrative control, supporting all IP protocols. What GCP service is designed to prevent data exfiltration with perimeter controls? VPC service controls. VPC service controls prevent data exfiltration by defining security parameters around sensitive resources like BigQuery or cloud storage, and it limits access to only trusted identities. What is the best SQL injection protection for GCP apps with minimal code changes? Cloud Armor with WAF rules for SQL injection protection. So remember Cloud Armor and WAF. Cloud Armor detects and blocks SQL injections attacks at the infrastructure edge. It requires no code changes and integrates with Google's load balancers. What is GCP's solution for layer 7 DDoS protection for public web applications? Cloud Armor adaptive protection. Cloud Armor uses adaptive machine learning and rate limiting to detect and mitigate application layer DDoS attacks while maintaining availability. What is the most secure internal API communication method across GCP projects? VPC service controls with an internal load balancer, SSL certificates, and a private service access. This combination ensures internal-only communication, encryption, perimeter enforcement, and follows a zero trust and defense in depth principle. What is the best first step for effective network segmentation in enterprise environments? Connect and conduct data classification and work analysis. This will enable segmentation based on real communication paths and sensitive data flows, rather than arbitrary team boundaries. and it will reduce over or under segmentation risks. What's the most secure and scalable microservices authentication within a GCP project? MTLS or mutual TLS with Google Managed Certificates and Workload Identity. This enables a strong identity verification, automatic rotation, and integrates with GCP IAM. This reduces operational overhead. What is the secure and auto-rotating GCP API credentials for compute engines? You do this by attaching a service account to the compute engine instance. This will provide auto-rotated credentials via an instance metadata server. This will ensure and enforce least privilege, avoid key management. What is the most comprehensive Layer 7 DDoS protection strategy for global applications? Cloud Armor with adaptive protection, a global load balancer, the Content and Delivery Network CDN, and rate limiting. This combines edge protection, latency-based routing, traffic distribution, and custom rule enforcement for application layer security. What is the best GCP connection for real-time transactions with consistent latency and encryption? Dedicated interconnect with 10 gigabits per second redundant connections. This delivers guaranteed throughput, redundancy, and secure transport, and it's optimized for sensitive real-time processing. What's the minimum required elements for secure end-to-end encryption? Public-private key pairs, a key exchange mechanism, and client-side encryption. These elements enable secure key negotiation and ensure only endpoints can decrypt messages. This aligns with end-to-end encryption principles, E2EE. What is the required infrastructure for secure high availability VPNs between two VPCs? Two cloud VPN gateways, external IPs, tunnels with shared secret, and BGP or Border Gateway Protocol routing. This configuration ensures redundancy, failover, and dynamic route propagation using BGP. What is the minimum configuration for hybrid cloud VPN setup with secure GCP access? Cloud VPN with BGP, Border Gateway Protocol, VPC, that's a virtual private cloud, firewall rules, and IAM roles. This enables secure dynamic routing, network segmentation, and access and role-based access control for hybrid environments. What's the most effective initial control to prevent data exfiltration in regulated environments? VPC service controls with perimeters and context-aware access. This offers infrastructure-level protection against exfiltration, especially for regulated services like BigQuery and cloud storage. What's the comprehensive security architecture for multi-tier GCP applications? Use subnets, least privileged service accounts, Cloud Armor, internal load balancers, and VPC flow logs. This aligns with defense in depth, ensures network isolation, defense in depth. That would be Cloud Armor. The network isolation would be the subnets, the observability with the VPC flow logs, and external internal traffic controls with the internal load balancers. Oops. Okay. A financial services company is deploying a global load balance application that processes credit card transactions across multiple regions. What combination of security measures would best protect the application while maintaining high availability and compliance with PCI DSS requirements? Cloud Armor, WAF rules, SSL termination, and auto healing MIGs, that's managed instance groups across regions. Right? This combines layer 7 WAF, encryption, and fault tolerance to ensure availability. This ensures availability, compliance, and protection from attacks. A team is deploying a new web application on Google Cloud Platform. It'll be exposed to the internet. What combination of security measures represents the most comprehensive and appropriate security strategy according to best practices? Deploy the Cloud Load Balancer, Cloud Armor, SSL TLS, and Internet-Aware Proxy for authenticated access. This combines DDoS protection, encrypted transport, and identity-based access control for defense and depth. Okay. Which encryption method is automatically applied by default to all data at rest in Google Cloud Platform without any additional configuration required? Google managed encryption keys using AES 256-bit encryption. The short answer is encryption. This is automatically applied by Google Cloud for all storage without customer action. What is the primary security feature that defines confidential computing in Google Cloud? Data encryption while in use during processing in memory. This secures the third state of data in use using secure enclaves. What's the primary access control mechanism that Vertex AI uses to secure ML models and their resources? Google Cloud IAM with predefined and custom roles. This governs who can access ML models, notebooks, and pipelines. What is the primary characteristic of format-preserving encryption when used for protecting sensitive data? This encrypts data while maintaining the original format and length. This is useful for legacy systems and pattern-sensitive data, like credit cards or social security numbers. Okay. Which statement best describes the primary characteristic of pseudonymization as a data protection technique? This replaces identifying data with artificial identifiers while keeping separate mapping information. This allows reversible de-identification under proper controls. What is the primary architectural difference between customer-managed encryption keys, CMEKs, and Cloud External Key Manager in terms of key storage and key management? CMEK stores keys in Cloud KMS, while EKM stores keys in external or on-prem systems. EKM gives physical control to the customer outside of Google Cloud. What is the primary architectural difference between how hardware and software encryption keys are processed in Google Cloud? Hardware keys are processed in HSMs, while software keys are processed in standard cloud resources. HSMs provide tamper-proof key handling with additional compliance. What is the primary purpose of sensitive data protection, SDP, in Google Cloud? This automatically discovers and protects sensitive data across Google Cloud services. This will scan for sensitive data like personally identifiable information, social security numbers, birth dates, credit card numbers, and then across the storage, BigQuery, etc. Okay. What is the primary purpose of implementing object lifecycle management policies in Google Cloud Storage? This automatically manages object retention and deletion based on predefined rules. This helps optimize storage costs and automate policy compliance. Which Google Cloud service is specifically designed for storing and managing sensitive configuration values like API keys, passwords, and certificates? Google Cloud Secret Manager is a service for storing and managing sensitive configuration values securely. This is purpose-built for API keys, passwords, and version secrets. What is the recommended initial access control configuration for a new cloud storage bucket that will store personally identifiable information? Enable uniform bucket-level access with specific group permissions and customer-managed encryption keys. This enforces consistent permissions and tighter encryption control. What is the recommended primary method for sharing sensitive data in BigQuery with external partners while maintaining data security and access control? Create authorized views in a separate project and grant external partners access to these views. This isolates raw data and controls what fields or rows are visible. What is the recommended method to secure compute instance metadata against unauthorized access from other virtual machines in a shared VPC environment? Enable metadata server 2 with identity-based authentication tokens. This prevents metadata theft by requiring identity tokens in requests. Which data pre-processing technique is most appropriate for protecting personally identifiable information, PII, and machine learning training datasets while maintaining data utility? Data anonymization through k-anonymity and generalization. This maintains utility while protecting individual privacy. In a production Kubernetes environment, what is the most secure and operationally efficient approach to implement automated secret rotation for database credentials used by containerized applications? Use a secrets management service with a sidecar container to automatically rotate and update database credentials. This enables real-time, secure, and decoupled credential rotation. In a hybrid cloud environment using Google Cloud Platform and on-premises infrastructure, which approach provides the highest level of security control for encryption key management while maintaining operational functionality? Generate and store all encryption keys exclusively in on-premises HSMs and use Cloud External Key Manager for cloud operations. This offers the highest level of control and satisfies strict compliance needs. When implementing key rotation for data encrypted with customer managed encryption keys, CMEKs, in Google Cloud, which approach ensures both security compliance and minimal service disruption? Enable automatic key rotation in Cloud KMS for secure and uninterrupted service. This automatically secures versioning and reduces manual risk. A financial services company needs to deploy a multi-regional application that processes sensitive customer data across the US and EU regions. The company must maintain complete control over encryption keys and demonstrate this control for compliance audits. Which Google Cloud encryption approach best meets these requirements? Use customer managed encryption keys with Cloud KMS in each regional deployment. This supports regional control and auditability across borders. Remember, customer managed. And Google Cloud KMS, which method should be used to rotate a customer managed encryption key while maintaining continuous service availability? Enable automatic key rotation with a rotation period and allow Cloud KMS to manage version transitions. This maintains continuity while adhering to compliance timelines. Okay. So, a financial services company is implementing a hybrid cloud architecture where sensitive customer data must remain on premises while allowing for cloud based analytics processing. Which data protection strategy best addresses the security and compliance requirements while maintaining operational efficiency? Deploy a hybrid key management system, encrypt sensitive data on premises, create tokenized versions for cloud processing, and maintain a secure bridge for necessary cross environment operations. This strikes the balance between data security and operational utility. Tokenizing sensitive data before sending it to the cloud ensures privacy while maintaining data utility for analytics. A hybrid key management system ensures strict control over encryption keys, and a secure bridge allows for compliant cross-environment workflows without exposing original data. Which architectural approach best implements comprehensive data protection in a multi-tenant BigQuery environment while maintaining proper isolation and access control? Create a separate GCP project for each tenant, implement VPC service controls around each project, and use IAM policies to manage access at the dataset level. Creating separate projects enforces tenant-level isolation at the resource level. VPC service controls limits data exfiltration risks, and IAM policies offer granular dataset access control. This model aligns with Google's best practices for secure multi-tenancy in BigQuery. A financial institution is setting up a new AI model training environment that will process sensitive customer data. Which of the following approaches best addresses both security requirements and regulatory compliance while maintaining model training efficiency? Establish a dedicated, isolated environment with strict access controls. Implement data anonymization techniques and use federated learning to keep sensitive data distributed across secure locations. This method ensures privacy and compliance by decentralizing the data using federated learning and combines anonymization for privacy with strong access controls and environment isolation, allowing for scalability and secure model training. Financial services company is migrating the data to Google Cloud and needs to implement a comprehensive data security strategy. What combination of security controls best addresses their structured data, cloud transactions, in Cloud SQL, and unstructured data, so customer documents, and Google Cloud Storage? Use Cloud DLP for data discovery and masking, CMEK, customer managed encryption keys for encryption, and IAM roles for access control, with Cloud audit logs for monitoring. This approach addresses data discovery with DLP, encryption control with customer managed encryption keys, and fine-grained access with IAM roles. It ensures traceability through Cloud audit logs and covers all the pillars of cloud data protection. It's best suited for managing both structured and unstructured data in regulated industries. A global financial services company is designing their cloud encryption strategy for a new application that processes credit card transactions across multiple regions. Which encryption configuration best meets their security and compliance requirements while maintaining optimal performance? Use regional KMS keys with auto rotation and TLS 1.3 with separate customer managed encryption keys per region. This provides the optimal balance of security, compliance, and performance. Regional KMS keys ensure data sovereignty and compliance with local regulations, while automatic key rotations enhances security. And TLS 1.3 offers the best-in-class encryption for data in transit. Separate key rings per region enable granular control while maintaining high availability. A financial services company needs to share confidential compute workloads between the development and production projects in Google Cloud. Which combination of controls will provide the most secure and compliant solution while maintaining workload isolation? VPC service controls with separate perimeters, confidential VMs, and policies to restrict inter-project networking. This layered strategy ensures memory-level data protection via confidential VMs and network isolation using VPC service controls and organization policy enforcement for strict policy separation. It provides a full lifecycle confidentiality and aligns with modern secure computing principles. A global enterprise is implementing cross-regional data replication in Google Cloud between the US and EU. Which combination of security controls would best ensure data protection while maintaining compliance with data sovereignty requirements? Enable customer-managed encryption keys with region-specific keys, implement VPC service controls, and use Cloud KMS with regional key rotation policies. This directly addresses data sovereignty by maintaining separate encryption keys per region, VPC service controls to limit data movement across trust boundaries, and Cloud KMS with regional key rotation that ensures compliance with local regulations. This is critical for handling regulated data in multi-jurisdictional environments like the United States and the European Union. A healthcare organization is developing a machine learning model to predict patient readmission risks using sensitive patient data. Which combination of security controls would best protect the machine learning pipeline while maintaining model functionality? Implement end-to-end encryption, restrict access using IAM roles, and store all training data in an encrypted data lake with versioning enabled. This balances security with functionality. End-to-end encryption protects data at rest and in transit. IAM rules restrict access on a need-to-know basis, and data lake versioning ensures integrity and traceability. This approach supports secure machine learning model development without compromising usability or auditability. A financial services company is implementing a data lake on Google Cloud to store customer transaction data, personal identifying information, and internal financial reports. What combination of security measures provides the most comprehensive and compliant protection while maintaining necessary data accessibility? Use VPC service controls, Cloud KMS for encryption, IAM conditions, Cloud DLP for data classification, and organization policies for resource control. This is a defense in depth strategy, with VPC service controls protecting perimeter access, Cloud KMS for key lifecycle control, IAM conditions to apply fine-grained access restrictions, Cloud DLP to classify and protect sensitive data, and organization policies to enforce governance. These controls support scalability, auditability, and compliance, essential for financial services handling sensitive PII and transactional records. What is the primary purpose of Google Cloud audit logs? To track who performed what actions and when in Google Cloud. Cloud audit logs are designed to provide accountability and traceability by recording administrative actions, API calls, and data access events across Google Cloud services. These are crucial for compliance audits, incident investigation, and forensics. These logs include details like actor identity, timestamp, resource affected, and action taken. What is the primary purpose of log analytics in Google Cloud Platform's Operations Suite? To analyze log data to identify patterns, troubleshoot issues, and gain system insights. Log analytics helps organizations query, filter, and visualize log data to support system debugging, incident response, and performance optimization. It's an essential part of Google Cloud's Operations Suite, enabling real-time and historical analysis of logs using cloud logging and BigQuery-like querying. What is the primary purpose of security, health, analytics, and Google Cloud Platform? This is a service that monitors cloud resources to identify security misconfigurations and compliance violations. Security Health Analytics continuously scans Google Cloud configurations to identify security risks, compliance gaps, and policy violations based on standards like CIS, NIST, and Google best practices. It's part of the Security Command Center Premium and supports proactive hardening by surfacing misconfigured buckets, networks, IAM policies, and more. What is the primary purpose and mechanism of VM patch management in Google Cloud? This is to distribute and apply updates to virtual machines, operating systems, and software for security and performance improvements. VM patch management in Google Cloud ensures that virtual machines, compute engine instances, are kept up to date with the latest security patches and performance updates. This helps reduce vulnerabilities and aligns with compliance mandates. It can be automated using OS config to manage Linux and Windows VMs, allowing scheduled or manual patch rollouts across multiple instances. What is the primary purpose of a log sync in Google Cloud Platform? It's a configuration that exports log entries to destinations outside of Google Cloud logging. A log sync defines which logs to export and where to export them, such as to cloud storage, BigQuery, or PubSub. This supports use cases like long-term retention, SIM integration, and advanced analytics. It's a key mechanism in extending cloud logging to third-party tools or custom workflows. Okay. What is the primary purpose of Cloud Security Posture Management, CSPM? This is to monitor cloud infrastructure for security risks and compliance through automated assessment. CSPM solutions like Security Command Center or third-party tools continuously access the cloud environment against security benchmarks and compliance frameworks like NIST, CIS, HIPAA, etc. They detect misconfigurations, excessive permissions, insecure storage, and more. This helps teams harden infrastructure, reduce the attack surface, and automate remediation workflows. What is the primary architectural difference between log syncs and aggregated syncs in Google Cloud logging? Log syncs collect logs from a single project, while aggregated syncs collect logs from multiple projects. The key distinction lies in scope. A log sync operates at the project level, capturing and exporting logs from that specific project only. An aggregated sync created at the organization or folder level can collect logs from multiple child projects, allowing for centralized logging and analysis. This is ideal for large organizations that need unified visibility across teams or environments. What is the primary purpose of Cloud IDS, Intrusion Detection System, in the Google Cloud Platform? This is to analyze network traffic in real time for threat detection and generate alerts for potential security incidents. Cloud IDS provides real-time packet inspection with signature-based threat detection. It monitors east-west and north-south network traffic to detect known vulnerabilities, malware signatures, and anomalous behaviors. It integrates with Chronicle and Security Command Center, helping security teams identify and respond to threats faster without interfering with normal operations. What is the primary function of Google Cloud Security Command Center in terms of organizational security management? It provides a centralized dashboard for monitoring and analyzing security threats across Google Cloud resources. Security Command Center is the unified security management platform for GCP. It aggregates findings from native tools like Security Health Analytics, Event Threat Detection, Container Threat Detection, and Web Security Scanner. It also integrates third-party tools to surface misconfigurations, threats, vulnerabilities, and compliance risks across all your GCP assets in one central place. What's the primary purpose of binary authorization in Google Kubernetes engine clusters? This enforces deployment time security controls by ensuring only trusted container images are deployed to the cluster. Binary authorization adds a layer of security to Kubernetes by requiring container images to be signed and verified before they can be deployed. It enforces admission policies that block unauthorized or unverified images from running. So it secures the software supply chain and protects it against tampered images or unauthorized deployments. It's essential in regulated or sensitive environments. It ensures that only images that have passed security checks or CICD pipelines make it into production. What's the primary purpose of packet mirroring in Google Cloud's networking security infrastructure? This copies network traffic to security monitoring tools for analysis. Packet mirroring allows organizations to mirror network traffic, including headers and payloads, from virtual machines to security appliances for monitoring tools like intrusion detection systems, deep packet inspection engines, or analytics platforms. It's useful for security threat detection, forensics, and compliance monitoring, all without disrupting the original traffic flow. It supports both north-south, so internet to virtual machine, and east-west, virtual machine to virtual machine traffic visibility within VPC networks. What is the primary purpose of VPC flow logs in Google Cloud Platform? To record network traffic metadata for monitoring and troubleshooting. VPC flow logs capture metadata about network traffic flowing through Google Cloud VPC networks. This includes information such as source and destination, IP addresses, ports, protocol types, number of bytes transferred, and actions taken, allowed or denied. These logs are vital for security monitoring, network troubleshooting, and performance analytics. What is the primary purpose of implementing custom organization policies in Google Cloud? To enforce resource configurations and constraints across an organization. Custom organization policies in Google Cloud are used to define and enforce governance rules across resource hierarchies. This ensures consistent behavior, security compliance, and resource usage constraints organization-wide across folders, projects, and services. Which Google Cloud service provides centralized security posture management and threat detection? Security Command Center. Security Command Center is a central hub for managing security posture and detecting threats in Google Cloud. It aggregates findings from services like Security Health Analytics, Web Security Scanner, and Container Threat Detection, enabling visibility and governance across the organization. Which Google Cloud service is specifically designed to export cloud logging data to external SIEM systems? Cloud Logging Log Router. This enables export of logging data to external destinations such as SIEMs, BigQuery, or PubSub. It'll provide granular control over log filtering and destinations via log syncs. What is the best practice when defining the scope of traffic for packet mirroring? Start with a narrow scope of critical subnets and gradually expand based on the security needs and performance impact. Begin with this narrow scope to avoid overloading monitoring tools, then to control costs, and you can enable fine-tuning. Mirroring all traffic is impractical due to performance, volume, and cost. What is the best binary authorization policy for GKE production clusters? This requires attestation for all container images except those in the kube system namespace, with break glass exceptions enabled for emergency deployments. This policy balances security enforcement with operational resilience, and it exempts critical Kubernetes system containers and allows emergency deployments via controlled bypass. What is the optimal VPC flow logs configuration for visibility and cost? Configure flow logs with a 1.0 or 100% sampling rate and 5-minute aggregation intervals, storing logs for 30 days. This setup provides full visibility with manageable storage overhead, ideal for most security analysis and compliance use cases without incurring excessive costs. What's the best log retention approach for compliance and efficiency? Implement tiered log retention with different periods based on criticality and automated archival. Tiered retention ensures critical logs are retained longer, while less vital logs are archived or deleted sooner. This balances regulatory compliance, cost savings, and log accessibility. What is the best logging architecture in a multi-tenant environment? Create separate log syncs for each tenant, each exporting to dedicated storage buckets with tenant-specific service accounts and IAM permissions. This ensures log isolation, access control, and policy compliance per tenant, supports multi-tenant architecture best practices. What's the best approach for continuous configuration drift detection in GCP? Implement Forseti Security's configuration scanner with automated enforcement policies and integrate it with Cloud Security Command Center. Forseti offers comprehensive, scalable drift detection and integrates with Security Command Center, and it supports automated policy enforcement across GCP organizations. In a Google Cloud environment, which approach represents the best practice for implementing automated vulnerability scanning for compute instances? Deploy Security Command Center's premium vulnerability scanning with custom schedules. Security Command Center Premium provides native agentless and centralized vulnerability scanning, It auto-discovers new assets, integrates with compliance reporting, and is built for enterprise-grade monitoring. In a CI/CD pipeline, at which stage should automated vulnerability scanning be implemented to achieve the most cost-effective detection of security issues while minimizing production delays? During the initial code commit stage, before the code is merged into the main branch. Early detection reduces remediation costs and integrates with deep developer workflows and prevents vulnerabilities from entering the mainline code. In Google Cloud, which organizational structure provides the most efficient way to manage IAM policies across multiple projects while minimizing policy redundancy? Apply policies at the folder level to inherent down to projects. This approach provides centralized policy control, efficient updates, reduces duplication, and aligns the GCP hierarchy. What is Google Cloud's recommended method for securely exporting sensitive cloud audit logs to an external SIEM system while maintaining data confidentiality and integrity? Use a pub/sub topic with VPC service controls and private VPC endpoint to export logs to SIEM. This ensures logs remain within secure boundaries, avoids public internet exposure, and provides fine-grained control and real-time streaming. A financial services organization needs to implement Google Cloud Security Command Center and requires advanced threat detection, regulatory compliance monitoring, and real-time security insights. Which SCC Security Command Center tier best meets these requirements? Security Command Center Premium with built-in threat detection. This provides managed threat detections, compliance reports, threat intelligence, and real-time analytics, all essential for institutions. In Google Cloud, what's the recommended approach for securing access to audit logs while following the principle of least privilege? Assign the logs viewer role, roles/logging.viewer, to specific users and groups who need to analyze logs. This predefined role limits access to read-only viewing of logs, supporting role-based access control, RBAC, and minimizes unnecessary privileges. For a multi-regional financial application requiring 7-year log retention and data residency compliance, which cloud logging strategy is most appropriate? Create regional log buckets with region-specific retention policies and route logs using log syncs. This ensures compliance with sovereignty, minimizes the latency, and allows tailored retention per region. Which Google Cloud solution is most appropriate for implementing automated, repeatable VM image hardening processes? Use Packer by HashiCorp to automate creation of hardened VM images. Packer allows code-based, version-controlled image building across environments and ensures consistency and compliance. Which Google Cloud service is specifically designed for real-time network threat detection and provides automated response capabilities? Cloud IDS, the intrusion detection system. This monitors traffic patterns in real time, detects malware and anomalies, integrates with security tools for alerting and response. A large enterprise is implementing their first security incident response plan in Google Cloud. Which combination provides the most effective foundation? Configure Cloud Security Command Center. Establish detection processes and define the roles and responsibilities. This centralized visibility and security command center with well-defined detection methods and clear team roles helps to build a strong, scalable incident response foundation. A development team is implementing automated security testing for their cloud-native application in Google Cloud Platform CI/CD pipeline. Which approach will be most effective for comprehensive security coverage while maintaining deployment velocity? Implement static code analysis, SAST, container vulnerability scanning, CVE, and penetration testing before production deployment. This shift-left approach integrates security early in the development cycle. It includes multiple automated layers, static code analysis for code quality, container scanning for vulnerabilities, and penetration testing before production. This ensures comprehensive coverage while keeping deployment velocity high. In a large enterprise organization with multiple cloud environments and on-prem infrastructure, which approach best addresses security drift management while maintaining operational efficiency? Deploy automated configuration management with continuous monitoring and infrastructure as code, IAC, across all environments. This approach provides scalable, consistent, and real-time control of security configurations. It detects deviations, so drift, quickly and allows for automated remediation, enabling consistent security posture across diverse environments. In the CI/CD pipeline for automated application deployment to Google Cloud Platform, which approach provides a strong security posture while maintaining operational efficiency. Use service accounts with minimal permissions. Enable binary authorization and store secrets in Secret Manager. This combination enforces the principle of least privilege, validates images trust via binary authorization, and ensures secret management is centralized encrypted all without hampering automation. A global enterprise is implementing organizational policies in Google Cloud Platform and needs to establish a strategy for managing policies across hundreds of projects with multiple departments. Which approach best aligns with GCP best practices for policy management at scale? Implement policies at the organization level and use folder hierarchies to manage exceptions when needed. Organization level policies establish consistent baseline rules. Folder hierarchies allow flexibility for exceptions, reducing overhead and improving maintainability. A company is implementing automated infrastructure deployment using Terraform with Google Cloud. Which combination of security practices will provide the most comprehensive protection while maintaining operational efficiency? Use service accounts with minimal permissions, store state files in cloud storage with encryption, and implement separate Terraform workspaces for each environment. Which of the following represents the most comprehensive and secure approach to automating container image creation in a production environment? Use minimal base images with automated vulnerability scanning, signed commits, and maintain an approved registry with auto patching. This multi-layered approach reduces attack surface, ensures image authenticity, and automates security updates, all key for secure and scalable container management. A global organization is implementing Security Command Center and needs to ensure comprehensive security monitoring across their cloud infrastructure. They require threat detection, compliance and monitoring, and vulnerability management capabilities. Which combination of Security Command Center should be enabled to meet these requirements while maintaining cost efficiency? Enable event threat detection, security health analytics, and vulnerability scanner with continuous asset evaluation and managed scanning. This trio offers broad and deep coverage. Event threat detection provides real-time alerts, health analytics checks configurations, vulnerability scanner continuously scans assets. Together, they ensure proactive and reactive coverage. A financial services company needs to implement a comprehensive logging strategy to meet regulatory requirements and security best practices. Which combination of logging components and practices would best meet their needs while maintaining operational efficiency? Implement application logs with user activities, enable cloud audit logs for all services, store logs for 7 years in cloud storage, and use log-based metrics for real-time alerting. This approach aligns with regulatory retention needs, ensures visibility into user activity, and supports real-time, efficient monitoring without overburdening resources. A healthcare organization using Google Cloud needs to ensure their logging configuration meets HIPAA compliance requirements. Which of the following logging configurations would best meet their compliance needs while maintaining operational efficiency? Configure audit logs for all patient data operations with 6-year retention and customer managed encryption key encryptions. CMEK, excuse me. HIPAA requires logging access to PHI, a minimum 6-year retention, and strong encryption. This meets those requirements while maintaining organizational control over the keys. A large enterprise is implementing their first security incident response plan in Google Cloud. Which combination of elements would provide the most effective foundation for their initial incident response capability? Configure cloud security command center, establish incident detection processes, and create clear roles and responsibilities for the incident response team. These elements together provide visibility, process, and structure, key components of an effective incident response strategy. Security Command Center centralizes insights while detection and role clarity streamline response. A large enterprise is implementing a zero trust security model and needs comprehensive network security visibility across their hybrid cloud environment, which includes on-premises data centers and Google Cloud workloads. Which combination of monitoring solutions would provide the most complete and effective security visibility while minimizing operational overhead? Deploy cloud IDS, intrusion detection, enable security command center premium, configure VPC flow logs, and implement packet mirroring only for critical workloads. This combination provides full spectrum monitoring and threat detection with efficient use of resources. IDS offers deep packet inspection. Security Command Center Premium centralizes management and compliance insights, and VPC flow logs provide telemetry, and selective packet mirroring minimizes overhead. A large enterprise is implementing a new CI/CD pipeline for their cloud-native applications. Which sequence of security controls represents the most effective and efficient implementation order to maximize security while maintaining development velocity? Static code analysis to container image scanning to infrastructure as code security scanning to dynamic application security scanning. This shift-left security model catches issues early on, starting with code and image analysis before moving to IAC and runtime testing. It minimizes risk and cost while maintaining deployment speed. A financial services company is migrating their core application to Google Cloud Platform. They need to implement security monitoring that meets the following requirements: real-time detection of potential security threats, audit logging of all administrative actions, automated analysis of security configurations, and compliance reporting for financial regulations. You should do this with cloud monitoring, cloud logging, security command center, premium, and cloud asset inventory. This toolset offers real-time detection, logging, config analysis, and compliance reporting in an integrated and cost-efficient manner. What is the primary mechanism Google Cloud uses to enforce data regionalization policies? Resource location restrictions that prevent resources from being created outside specified regions. These policy-based controls enforce location constraints at the point of resource creation, aligning with regulatory requirements for data residency. In Google Cloud's shared responsibility model, which statement accurately describes the fundamental division of responsibilities between Google Cloud and the customer? Google Cloud is responsible for security of the cloud infrastructure, while customers are responsible for security in the cloud infrastructure. This includes data, access, and configuration. This reflects the shared responsibility model where cloud providers secure the platform and customers secure their usage. What is the primary purpose of access transparency logs in Google Cloud Platform? To record and justify Google support and engineering staff access to customer cloud resources. Access transparency logs provide audit trails for internal Google support actions on customer environments. What is the primary purpose of assured workloads in Google Cloud? To enforce data residency and access controls for regulated workloads. Assured workloads ensures compliance with regional and regulatory requirements by controlling access and location. What is the primary purpose of access approval in Google Cloud when Google support personnel need to access customer data? Require customer approval before Google support can access customer data. Access approval provides a gatekeeping mechanism giving customers explicit control over Google personnel access. What is the primary business objective of maintaining comprehensive audit log coverage as part of the compliance program? To provide a verifiable record of system activities that demonstrates compliance and enables investigations. Comprehensive logs provide audit trails that support investigations and provide adherence to regulatory requirements. What is the primary function of organizational policies in Google Cloud when implementing compliance requirements? To provide centralized control over cloud resources and enforce compliance rules. Organizational policies let enterprises programmatically enforce security, usage, and compliance rules across projects. In Google Cloud's shared responsibility model, which statement best describes the fundamental division of security responsibilities between Google Cloud and its customers? Google Cloud manages infrastructure security, while customers manage security of their data, access, and applications. This accurately reflects the shared responsibility model. Google secures the infrastructure, while customers secure everything they build and manage within the cloud. Which Google Cloud feature specifically logs and provides visibility into actions taken by Google Cloud support personnel when they access your cloud resources? Access transparency logs. Access transparency logs provide audit-level visibility into when and why Google support access customer environments. Which compliance framework specifically requires personal data of EU residents to be stored within the European Economic Area, EEA? That's GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. GDPR enforces strict data residency and transfer requirements to protect EU resident data. What is the first step an organization should take when implementing access controls to meet regulatory requirements? Audit regulatory requirements and existing access controls. Understanding the requirements and current gaps ensures targeted, efficient implementation. According to PCI DSS, which network configuration best ensures proper isolation of the cardholder data environment? CDE. Deploy firewalls and network segmentation to isolate CDE from non-CDE systems. So, proper segmentation and firewalling meet these requirements for isolating these sensitive data environments. What is the first required step a company must take to configure their cloud environment for HIPAA compliance? Sign a business agreement, a BAA, with Google Cloud using HIPAA-regulated workloads. The BAA is a legal requirement and must be signed before processing any PHI, personal health information. What is the recommended first step when implementing audit logging in Google Cloud to meet compliance? Identify required audit log types based on compliance requirements. So aligning log collection with actual regulatory needs ensures effectiveness and cost efficiency. When implementing network segmentation for compliance, what is the first critical step? Conduct a data classification and asset inventory to identify sensitive data locations. This helps you understand where sensitive data lives and helps prioritize segmentation efforts. What is the most effective technical approach to ensure data sovereignty compliance in Google Cloud? Set resource location restrictions at the organizational level to control where data can be restored. Resource location restrictions prevent creation of data in unauthorized regions, ensuring sovereignty. Which Google Cloud service should a financial institution primarily use to ensure their data remains within specific geographic boundaries while maintaining compliance with data sovereignty requirements? Google Cloud Storage with location selection. Google Cloud Storage with location selection is specifically designed to help organizations maintain data residency requirements by allowing them to choose specific geographic locations for data storage. This service provides explicit controls for where data is stored and ensures it doesn't leave those boundaries, making it the most appropriate solution for financial institutions needing to comply with data sovereignty requirements. Which configuration is the primary mechanism for ensuring data residency compliance when storing customer data in specific geographic locations? Resource location restriction using organization policy constraints. This is the primary mechanism in GCP for enforcing data residency requirements. Organization policy constraints allow you to specify which geographic locations are permitted for resource creation. These restrictions are set at the organization level and cascade down the folders and projects, ensuring all resources and data remain within approved regions. Which Google Cloud service should be used to enforce centralized constraints on resource configurations and behaviors across multiple projects within an organization? An organization policy service. The Organization Policy Service enables administrators to define and enforce centralized constraints on how resources are configured and used across projects. This helps standardize security, compliance, and operational rules throughout the entire organization. Which Google Cloud service provides detailed logs and requires explicit customer approval for Google support staff to access your cloud resources? Access transparency. Access transparency logs record and justify Google support access to your resources. It ensures visibility and control by requiring explicit customer approval and logging the reason for access. This is vital for compliance and trust in regulated environments. A global e-commerce company is designing a new payment processing system that must comply with PCI DSS, and GDPR. Which combinations of control is most secure and compliant? Tokenization for payment data, separate data centers in the EU and US with regional data residency, and implementing real-time monitoring and establishing automatic key rotation every 90 days. This addresses both the PCI DSS and GDPR requirements by combining tokenization for payment data, regional data residency enforcement, real-time threat detection, and proper key management practices. It ensures secure processing and legal compliance across geographies. What is the most critical architectural decision for ensuring data sovereignty compliance in a multi-regional GCP environment? Create separate projects and VPC networks for each region, with distinct organization policies and billing accounts. This approach ensures strong isolation and regional control over data, allowing for independent enforcement of local compliance policies while reducing the risk of data leakage across regions. Which components form the minimum requirements for a compliant disaster recovery solution per SOC 2, ISO 27001, and HIPAA? Regular backup testing, documented recovery procedures, and define RTO and RPO metrics. That's return to time and return to performance. So the time it gets to get back online and up to optimal performance. These are core compliance requirements. Testing ensures the recovery process works. Documented procedures guide recovery efforts, and define metrics validate the recovery meets business and compliance expectations. What's the minimum required setup for a HIPAA-compliant workload in Google Cloud? Sign the business agreement, enable cloud audit logs, encrypt data with customer-managed keys, and implement least privilege access via IAM. These components establish the legal, monitoring, and encryption and access control pillars required by HIPAA. Which combination represents a complete and compliant data governance strategy in Google Cloud? Data classification, access controls, encryption, audit logging, and documented data handling policies. This mix of technical, administrative controls ensures full lifecycle data governance, and compliance with regulations. What combination of Google Cloud controls addresses both PCI DSS and SOC requirements with minimal overhead? Cloud KMS for encryption, cloud audit logs for admin tracking, and VPC service controls for environmental separation. This setup aligns with encryption and logging mandates while maintaining operational separation of sensitive workloads. Which GCP features best support GDPR's data deletion and portability requirements? Cloud DLP API for discovery, storage object lifecycle management for deletion, and data catalog API for portability. These tools allow organizations to find personal data, manage its lifecycle, and export it in accordance with GDPR rights. What is the best practice configuration for comprehensive audit logging in GCP to meet regulatory requirements? Enable admin activity, data access, and system event logs at the organizational level with exports to BigQuery and cloud storage. This ensures complete visibility across all activity types, supports both analytics and long-term retention, and centralizes governance. What GCP controls are required to meet SOC 2's Security Trust Services criteria? Implement cloud IAM roles, cloud audit logs configuration, and VPC service controls. These controls address SOC 2's core principles: user access, auditability, and network level protection. Which GCP configuration best ensures GDPR compliance for processing EU citizens' data while supporting global operations? Deploy resources in EU regions, use Cloud KMS with EU stored keys, and implement VPC service controls to restrict data access to EU. This setup enforces strict geographic controls, supports customer-managed encryption, and protects against unauthorized cross-border data movement. Okay, thank you for reviewing these 183 questions with explanations. This should get you ready for the Google Cloud Professional Security exam. And again, you can see at the very top the URL of the site with the actual practice, and you can go through this yourself against the actual practice exam questions. Otherwise, I will see you all soon. Thank you for joining me.